Hello everyone, it's Sarah here, ready to bring you another review. This time we're covering the first 3 episodes of Season 2 for the Boys spin-off series, Gen V. Before we begin though, please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and that's it. Time to go to class. A quick recap of Season 1 events. Godolphin's University is basically like Xavier's school for mutants in the X-Men, where kids with superpowers learn how to control them, as well as get a basic high school education. However, being that it's set in the universe of The Boys, it all kind of fucked up over there. And well, 9 out of 10, if you give a teenager superpowers, they're gonna do some fucked up shit. Themes such as assault, identity and morality versus power are the major topics throughout the series, and by the end a group of select students come together after finding out some truths about those in charge of the whole circus. They try to put a stop to it, even getting betrayed by some of the people that they once thought were friends. And while 2 of them go on to kind of become the Junior 7, basically the Teen Titans, the rest get captured and locked up in some secret lab dungeon. Now unfortunately, in real life actor Chance Perdomo, who played Andre on the series, has passed away due to a motorcycle accident at the very young age of 27. I quite liked his character and the actor was definitely a rising star and he will be sadly missed. So now we come to Season 2, and in the meantime we had The Boys Season 4 which did continue events. So some time has passed in this series as well. Our core group of heroes Emma, Marie and Jordan are now out of Elmira prison, with Marie having escaped on her own and Jordan and Emma released to the school in exchange for condemning the Starlighters. Most of this episode is just catching up with everything that happened while they were locked up, and a bunch of exposition dumps to set up the new mystery of the season. What is Project Odessa? Who is Cypher and what is he planning? While not as shocking as some of the episodes in the first season of the show, there's still plenty of raunchy and silly moments, and scenes of over-the-top violence and gore. The opening moments are absolutely hilarious, if violently terrifying. We get a lot of character development from the main 3 protagonists, as they've changed after their lockup experience, and with all the new players in charge at God U, they must carefully navigate this minefield and find a way to strike back at Fort. I wonder which major character we'll meet this season. We do get a cameo from Annie, Starlight herself in episode 1, and of course the Deep can't resist showing up with his creepy little smile and preying on some young schoolgirls. But I would like to see some of the other big threats to make an appearance. Imagine Ryan attending God U and Butcher dropping him off every day. How crazy would that be? Okay, now spoilers are inbound for the first 3 episodes of the season. I'll give you a moment to skip to the timestamp on screen if you want to avoid any. Still here? Let's continue. I'm going to condense what happens in each episode to the most important parts, so that this doesn't run into an hour-long video. This show still amazes me with its ability to be super relevant both politically and socially, and even somehow predicting real-life events, mirroring our current events and shedding a light on the ugly truth. The episodes begin with a flashback to before Godolphin University was established, where they were working on Temp V, before a bunch of science bros test a serum on themselves and it all goes tits up. One guy's ass explodes with a bunch of tentacles coming out of it, another guy's face melts off, one dude catches fire and burns to death, and one guy's stomach explodes as his intestines grow 20 times larger. Then we jump to the present day, a year after the events of the first season. And boy, those showrunners do not miss a step, going for the throat on many right-wing news outlets by mocking them with an in-world broadcast declaring that liberals' woke agenda is racist against superheroes. That they are responsible for the murder of one of their superhero supremacy spokespersons, and how the left propaganda is unpatriotic and blah blah blah, you know what I mean. Basically the same shit you get from Fox News about immigration and non-whites. The show does address the absence of Andre by revealing he died in an escaped attempt. Only Marie was able to get away and Emma and Jordan were recaptured. However, that two-faced backstabbing bitch Kate used her newfound fame as Homelander's lapdog to get Emma and Jordan released and reinstated at God U, in exchange for going on live TV and condemning anti-super behaviour and the woke agenda. Kate cries crocodile tears when she reads Jordan's mind and finds out her former boyfriend Andre was killed, and even tries to confront the new dean of God U, Cypher, a mysterious character whose powers we haven't seen yet. But he tells her to stop poking around and do what he tells her, and even threatens to dice her hand up in a blender. Not that I would feel sorry for her. Marie in the meantime has been living on the streets looking for her sister, but coming up empty. Some super-powered bounty hunter named Dognot, who acts like a dog and is a cross between DC's Lobo and Marvel's Wolverine, is sent after Marie to bring her in, dead or alive. I'm just gonna say it, the dude is into bestiality, so be prepared. Poor stray pup. We also meet the members of the campus's biggest frat, Gamma Epsilon Delta, and we get lines from them like, "We got kicked off school grounds once because a kid died from alcohol poisoning. What kind of chump can't chug 40 seltzers in 10 minutes? And also, we're sponsored by Golf Pros and Tennis Hose, Cow Bros and Indian Hose, the trail of beers. Fucking hell. And guess who was once a president of this frat? If you guess the deep, then you win. We catch up with Sam and he's still totally receiving some mind manipulation treatment via Kate, as he's pretty much this emotionless robot now. He's also dating that airhead podcaster Justine, and this all re-traumatizes Emma till she explodes with rage and knocks Justine the fuck out. For those of you who don't remember, she was the girl who tried to get famous by talking shit about Emma's eating disorder. Meanwhile, Andre's father has pretty much retreated into his home and blames himself that his need for fame and fortune drove him to give Andre the V in the first place, which eventually got him killed. Dognot finds Marie and almost kills her before Starlight shows up and blasts his ass into next week using her light powers. However, the whole incident gets caught on a mobile phone and uploaded to TikTok, which Emma sees and grabs up Jordan to go and find their friend for Andre. When they catch up to her, Jordan unloads on her, blaming her for Andre's death. But suddenly, Kate shows up and claims she's there to protect them. They need to go back to the school and tell Vought everything, or they're gonna be tortured to death. When the trio refuses, Kate tries to use her manipulation abilities, and so Jordan uses her light blast powers, which sends Kate headfirst into a brick wall, cracking her skull open. Marie tries to save her, but not risking touching Kate or she might use her powers against them, and so Kate bleeds to death. Episode 2 begins with Marie making an apology video blaming mental health issues to try and get back on campus so she can essentially hide in plain sight. While she is able to re-enroll, Cypher sees through her bullshit and gives it to her straight. Either she falls in line or she can get fucked. He tries manipulating her further though by disclosing that Andre had a pre-existing heart condition and he would have died from using his powers anyway. In exchange for this information, he wants her to keep an eye on Emma and Jordan for him. Apparently Kate didn't die, but came damn close and suffered some brain damage. The look on Marie's face says it all. Sorry, not sorry, thoughts and prayers, you know. Of course, Truth Bomb Firecracker plays the right-wing mouthpiece once again, trying to blame recent events on a major woke agenda conspiracy, citing that Homelander, Jesus and herself are watching out for the nation and they've got nothing to fear. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Since Kate is unable to use her abilities on Sam, he actually starts to feel again. Memories are flooding back in. However, she is able to grab a nurse and cause her to go psycho, stabbing another nurse to release some of her anger, I guess. The showrunners really lay into current political propaganda by having one of the teachers at the school teach a kind of abstinence-only influencer course, claiming the hairy baby-killing lesbians and feminism have ruined America. Wow. I behave, I give my man his babies, and I churn my own butter. I am godly. I am the future everyone should strive for. What the fuck? Emma is forced to attend this class, and essentially the school's goal is to use her popularity to spread the message to hunt down all Starlighters and deliver justice on them. The student liaison person is a woman named Marie who is half bee and half human female. Cypher orders her to create a schedule for Marie. Public events that she's forced to attend, complete with speeches she's supposed to give to inspire the students. She has a big wasp-like stinger coming out of her ass and pukes up honey. She says though if she were to sting someone, it would instantly kill them and herself. So I'm sure that's going to come into play at some point in this season. One of the more interesting things they introduce in this episode is the superhero optimization class, which basically explores how some of these people's powers works, allowing them to fine-tune their abilities. For example, Marie can control blood, which is a pretty damn cool thing to be able to control. This scene reminds me of Danger Room in X-Men, but instead of a fancy robot and holograms, we get a big dude with a big ass hammer looking like Karl Urban in Thor Ragnarok, saying, "Sup bitches, who's ready to deep throat my hammer?" He starts beating the shit out of the kids, trying to get them to use their powers, and I'm pretty sure he kills one of them. And while Marie and Jordan start giving it back to him, he's somehow able to overpower them, and so Jordan hits that tap out bell, saving them. The story takes a twist when we find out that Andre's dad, Polarity, has joined the faculty, mainly to keep a protective eye over his son's former friends, and to get his revenge on Cypher and Vought. Repeatedly throughout the episode we hear the name Odessa, and it comes up quite a bit. Now it's unknown if that's the name of a person or a project, or perhaps both. However, Starlight is looking for it and passes that information on to Marie and her friends, and they too begin to look into it as well. Marie and Jordan finally have a heartfelt conversation about how their relationship ended, how their stays at the Elmira prison were, and about losing Andre. The romance is rekindled and their bond seems to have deepened even further. A tender moment in this otherwise violently chaotic franchise. We meet the greatest and silliest character ever, the Rememberer. Guess what his power is? Well, Emma, pretending to be Polarity's TA and a fan of the Rememberer's old TV show, they're able to enter the restricted section of the school's library. No invisibility cloak is needed. The two of them get to work looking up anything they can about Godolkin and his experiments, and if there's any mention of Odessa. They also come across a secret room hidden behind a bookcase filled with KKK and Nazi memorabilia celebrating the massacre of blacks, Jews and Native Americans, with big posters and trophies collected from various hate crimes. They continue to dig through the files when Emma hits the motherlode and gets super excited. However, if you remember from season 1, she started to realise her powers were based off her emotions and not necessarily what she ingested. And so, when she gets super excited, she explodes out of her clothes and becomes giant-sized in the room. Whoops. Meanwhile, Sam is losing his shit the more memories and emotions come back, seeing the puppets again. He confronts Emma about being there when Kate got hurt, and she tells him to wake up. Kate has been brainwashing him. Outside, the school is celebrating because apparently Vought caught the person who put Kate in the hospital, but who they put on display is actually just some random black kid that Dognot claims had a weapon and so he just killed him. A commentary on police violence, but damn. And the final big reveal, Marie is Odessa, and so was Victoria Newman. Not just randomly given a dose of V, but directly engineered to have specific set of powers. The way Cypher has been acting and the control he exudes over people like Kate and Sam, I think it's possible he too has got similar set of powers, but honed in, making him even more deadly. Episode 3 gives us a glimpse at Homelander's new Human Registration Act. Basically, like the Jewish people during the Holocaust had to wear stars, humans who work on campus have to wear badges to identify themselves as human, and often get blamed when anything goes wrong, as if they're all terrorists and whatnot. The poor girl working the Jitterbean counter is an unfortunate target of some supers who just want to see her get killed by constantly putting pro-Starlight flyers on her booth, which gets some of the super students pissed off and threatening her life. Kate returns to the school and is definitely suffering from some severe head trauma, In the superhero optimization class, it's no longer just a practice room, but has now straight up become a tournament, and only the best of the best get to stay and learn all the secrets. Justine decided to dump Sam because her follower count didn't go up, and Sam is seeing Muppets everywhere, constantly digging at him, driving him into depression and madness. It's Godolphin Day on campus, and they are getting ready for the huge celebration. Apparently the Deep hosts the after party, where he deflowers the virgin female students on display for everyone to see, which is fucking disgusting. Jordan finds out they are number 1 in the rankings, and their poster gets put up all over the place with the slogan, "Make America Super Again." While they used to be consumed about the idea of being in first place, now it just feels like another burden they just wish they could shake off. Cypher drops some hard truths on Kate, that if she chooses to fight Marie and the gang again, she will lose, and quite possibly lose her abilities permanently. And without her powers, she's no better than a human, and will lose her status. Turns out it's a speedster who's been terrorizing the Jitterbeans girl, who's really been having a rough few days, with people threatening to SA her, to break her, or to straight up kill her. What the fuck? Well, Emma can't stand by and not help, and so she tries to track the speedster down, but wait, he's not just an ordinary speedster. No, he's more like Rogue from the X-Men. Any super-powered person he touches and he absorbs their powers temporarily. Well shit, this makes things way more complicated. Pam goes nuclear and starts fucking up the dorms. Jordan tries to calm him down, but it breaks into a full-on throwdown match. After getting knocked around, Jordan appeals to him once again, calling him on his rage-filled bullshit, and Sam just sits down and gives in. Jordan reminds him that Luke sacrificed everything for him and really loved him, and wanted him to get better, and he's throwing it all away. Not just by losing his temper and whatnot, but also by siding with Vought. Meanwhile, Marie gets in touch with her aunt and finds out that she was actually conceived in vitro at Godolphin's labs, and the man who delivered her was Cypher, known as Dr. Gold back then, according to the aunt. Well, I'm going to take a leap here and say he could actually be Godolphin himself, and his superpowers are maybe immortality. Emma manages to find out who the super is terrorizing the human workers by finding spray paint residue on this girl's hands. And it's Harper, one of Justine's former lackeys. But it turns out she wasn't actually trying to be malicious. Not really anyway. She's secretly a Starlighter herself, and if any trouble really had started, she would have stepped in. Her powers are, as I mentioned before, just like Rogue's, where for 60 seconds she's able to copy anyone's ability from a mere touch. The tail, on the other hand, is just a pain in the ass, as she puts it. There's actually a few super students involved in this, but we just don't know who just yet. Sam has calmed down considerably and shares a heartfelt conversation with Jordan about missing Luke and not really having a home to go to. Jordan interjects that no matter what has happened, if he asks his friend for help, they'll be there. He's not the monster he thinks he is. Emma is introduced to Ali, Harper's roommate and partner in crime. Ali's whole plan revolves around tagging statues and whatnot with words like fascist and fuck Homelander. And Emma kind of laughs at this. She tells them they need to step their game up if they want to make a real impact. But the girls are scared. Not only could they be killed for what they are already doing, but regardless of the social and political situations, they could get kicked out of the school. And then, what are they going to do? OnlyFans for both of them if they kind of want to stay relevant. Emma hits him with an inspirational speech, how she never thought of herself as a hero. And that's kind of bullshit. It just takes courage. Anyone can be a hero if they give a shit. The episode concludes with the big Godolphin celebration and Jordan confessing his undying love for Marie. He then takes to the stage in his male form to give a pre-written speech, and as he chokes out the words, you can see it's killing him little by little inside. And then he takes a long look at Marie and goes off script. He changes into his female form. She blurts out Andre died in prison and that they were set up by Vought, and that Cat wasn't attacked by Starlighters. The crowd quickly turns on her, especially when Jordan says she's the one who attacked Kate. Oh shit, cut to black. And that wraps it up. What an interesting start to the season. Definitely coming out the box swinging heavy. While not the most explosive episodes in terms of action, it was certainly a huge update to the boys' universe, setting the stage for everything that's about to go down this season. I have so many thoughts of where this is all gonna go. I've read the original comics and know the G-Men storyline somewhat well. And while I think they are gonna borrow some elements from it, I do think this is gonna be more or less its own unique story, setting up season 5 of the main series. I do wonder where Kate's allegiance will take her. Will she continue down the path of siding with Vought out of fear? The path of vengeance against Marie and Jordan? Or like Sam, will she see through all of this bullshit and accept responsibility for her own actions and do something to help? I guess we will find out. Gonna hold off any ranking until the season finishes, but so far I definitely am really enjoying it. I want to thank you all for checking out the video. What did you think of the season so far? Are you a fan of the boys universe? Let us know in the comments below. If you really enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to blast that bell icon to stay up to date with all our latest releases. I have been your host Sarah, and thank you for being here with me today. Have the most beautiful day and take care. Goodbye.